Hey everybody, it's about 4:17 in the afternoon, and I got a question for you. Now I know a lot of people have their differences about Netflix, right? You know, Netflix, despite how you feel about them, is a good company. Yeah, they tried to do something last year and it really didn't work out. I mean, they tried to split things, you know what I'm saying? They tried to make the delivery service another name, another brand of the company, another division, and make the streaming service just Netflix. That really didn't work out well, did it? Now, I understand some people still feel that Netflix has a lot to do, has a lot to improve, and really has to benefit, and it really has to kind of start benefiting from other kinds of media, if you know what I mean. In other words, one of the things a lot of people feel Netflix needs to do is integrate a gaming division. In other words, allow fans or allow consumers to not just rent movies and stream movies online. You know, kind of rent movies, have them delivered, and stream them online. But they also want but fans also want the ability to rent games, as well as possibly stream games, which I think Netflix wouldn't do, but still, it's something that fans want to have happen. You know what I'm saying? Fans would love this to happen as an addition. But even though we would like Netflix to go and do that, which again would be beneficial for them in the long run, how do we know it will be beneficial for us? Because one of the things Netflix does get at fault at times, and usually from what I've dealt with, from my past experiences with them, what I've dealt with from my past experiences with them is on very few occasions when they deliver physically, when they mail out physically a DVD, or even nowadays if you have a Blu-ray disc, that sometimes that Blu-ray disc or that DVD disc will come damaged. In other words, what I'm saying is that the Blu-ray disc and DVD disc that we want to see the most will come and it'll be damaged. It won't be playable. But what kind of damage? Well, sometimes the damage that comes along with it, sometimes it's just a scratch and maybe a little dirt. And if you have a DVD or even a Blu-ray cleaner or a disc cleaner in general, you can usually clean it up and it'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? It'll be fine. No fuss, no muss. But some of the other times when it comes damaged, it's not just because of scratches which may play it integral part and cause you to have to send it back for a replacement. But the one major thing that they need to improve on when it comes to delivery and making sure that the discs are workable is to make sure the discs don't get cracked. That's right. You're probably watching this and thinking, don't tell us you got one, you received one cracked, right? Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. You see, in one of my future DVD updates in the near future, I'm going to showcase the Galaxy Rangers. In other words, I will show you the addition of a majority of the series to my collection. Now, here's the thing. When I received the Galaxy Rangers over the weekend, Disc 1, Volume 1, if you will, of the series, because Galaxy Rangers is an 8-disc set, right? Well, when I received it, surprise, surprise, surprise to me, much to my surprise, I should say, collection number 1, disc number 1, was cracked. Now at first I thought when I got it, it was okay. But when I went to go do the fab deal, it was cracked. I noticed it. It was cracked. And by looking at it a little bit more, I realized that someone must have tried to tape it so they could play it. But it didn't work. It was cracked. So what did I do? I sent it back. And I got another one today. And what was funny though is I sent the other one back over the weekend. And they received it. And today I got the other one. As well as I got Lunatics Unleashed, but that's a different story. But yeah, I ended up getting the other one. So one of the things I believe they need to improve on, as I mentioned, is they need to improve on making sure their disc arrives safe and sound. And you know, it's not just with them either. You got Blockbuster. Blockbuster On Demand doesn't have any facilities that are near you to where they could just mail when you mail back to where you can mail back your disc and then they send something back in return. No. The only facility that I know of is in Dallas, Texas. And that's kind of hard for people to fathom. The fact that they got to wait a couple of days before they get their DVDs, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard for them to fathom. But, you know, still people use Blockbuster because, hey, you know, Blockbuster kind of gives you an option. Gives you more of an option than Netflix, I guess, in some people's minds. I mean, literally, if you have a certain DVD player or Blu-ray player, you could get Blockbuster On Demand through that. Or through TiVo. But again, Netflix, I'm saying, is not at fault. I'm also saying Blockbuster's at fault too, because I'm pretty sure anybody that has a Blockbuster On Demand account has dealt with the fact that they probably received some damaged disc. And again, just like Netflix, they need to improve on making sure people don't receive damaged discs. Either they're cracked or scratched or anything. They need to make sure those suckers are clean, or either that they have an unlimited supply. You know what I'm saying? And speaking of which, one other thing I'm pretty sure both need to improve on is to make sure they have an unlimited supply of certain movies and shows, and even in Blockbuster's case, games, located or stored up in every facility that they have. More importantly, Netflix, with their facilities all over the country, and if not the world, they need to make sure they have, they need to make sure they have multiple copies of everything. Movies, shows, whatever. They need to make sure they have multiple copies, so that way somebody doesn't have to look on their account and notice, oh, the other disc that I ordered is finally coming, but it's coming from another state. Not that I have a problem with that, not as long as I get the disc safe and sound. But come on, seriously? You gotta basically rearrange your consumer's queue in the top 3 or 5 discs just because one of the discs has to come from another state? I mean, one of the lunatic discs that I got, that I ended up fabbing, if you will, came from Tacoma, Washington. Okay, that's no problem. Then the other one that I got today came from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And again, not that I have a problem with it because they both came safe and sound. But come on, Netflix. But come on, people. Netflix, you gotta make sure you have enough of everything, so that when people send stuff back to, let's say, my nearest location, my nearest Netflix shipping location is West Sacramento. So if I send mine back to West Sacramento, you should make sure, Netflix should make sure that they have plenty of copies of things like Lunatics, Galaxy Rangers, movies like Moneyball and Real Steel, you know, stuff like that. They need to make sure they got unlimited copies so people don't have to wait. Heck, I remember one time I got a disc. I don't know if it was a movie or part of a show, and it came all the way from North Carolina. I'm not lying. So, but again, I don't have a problem as long as they come safe and sound. The only problem I have is, well, it probably is not just me, but I'm pretty sure the only problem they need to improve on with this part, besides making sure the disc arrives safely and making sure they have an unlimited quantity of disc in movies and shows, and like Blockbuster, make sure, and with Blockbuster, make sure they have the same thing, but make sure they have an unlimited quantity of games, is to make sure again that your stuff arrives safely, undamaged, and make sure, and to prevent that, my honest opinion is make sure they come from a closer location. Not saying that when I got the first Galaxy Ranger disc it didn't come damaged, because it did, and it came from West Sacramento. But you kind of understand what I'm saying, folks. What I'm saying is, if you're going to improve on stuff and make sure your relationship with your consumers and your customers greatly improves, you got to make sure you improve on the areas I mentioned. Now, I know a lot of you that are Netflix subscribers and Blockbuster On Demand subscribers may agree, may not agree. Heck, if you're a GameFly subscriber, you may or may not agree. But what I'm saying, folks, is it just makes sense if they made sure they have plenty of quality, they made sure they have plenty of quantity in all the locations. If they're a company like Netflix, make sure they have a lot of all these things so people don't have to wait, and make sure that not only are those things cleaned up and playable, but make sure they're not damaged when you send them. So, but again, those are just some things I feel Netflix and Blockbuster and companies like Netflix need to improve on. So, comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll talk to you all later.